Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of our trip through Godot to create a mobile game. My name is Mike, and with me in the ether out there somewhere, but not exactly in this video, is Harrison. He's our developer. I'm the UI kind of design guy, and together we're designing a mobile game based off of colors and like cracking codes. And so in this series here, just going to take you through kind of our design process. We've already reached the alpha stage, so I'm just going to show off a bit here of the Godot project that we have and kind of show that off here a little bit and show you what we worked on. So let's go ahead and head over to Godot. This is our Godot project. So when you load up the game for the first time, you're going to see the guest login, and you'll also see a sign in with Apple or a sign in with Google, depending on what phone you have. And how we actually got that to work, I'm not sure. It's somewhere in the code, somewhere magical. That is more of Harrison's realm, where he can maybe explain that to me and I can explain it to you, or however this is going to work. But through the magic of coding, we can have those show up there depending on what phone device that you're using. It's really handy right now because the testing process, we may end up altering, changing something that has to do with the guest accounts and like maybe the connections with Loot Locker. And so if you have are only operating off a guest account, that may wipe out your progress and you'll lose all your coins and everything you've done because those accounts get manipulated or changed or something like that by us in order to make something else work. If you're signed in with Apple or Google, it's always going to sync up and you'll always have that stuff. So that's about it for this page here. So let's go ahead and move on to the main menu. This is the main menu page. You'll have Hacker Network here, set your color code, black market, and then there used to be just one button for settings, and I've since sliced that in half, and now we have a button for settings, and then the new page here that was recently added for our social page on here. And then below that we have the coins. So this is how many coins you'll be able to see that you've earned throughout the game. You'll be able to see it on this main screen here. In the end, we're probably not gonna have this main menu. I believe when we load up, possibly we'll have it goes straight to like the Hacker Network, and then we'll have these options laid out separately that you can go to, maybe some sort of tab structure or something like that, that you can swap between these different instances on. So just for testing right now, we're not sure how long this is gonna last here for this setup, but this was just a way to get people around the app easier. You'll also see throughout the pages that I show you here, I do have like a little hamburger menu icon up in the top right. That would be for like a settings slide out. Doesn't do anything right now. It's just kind of there right now, just doing its thing. So for the first page, let's go ahead and head to the Hacker Network. And this page here, it looks empty. And it is technically, but when the game is running, this gets populated with all your friends, the bots, and the random players that you've hacked. And then up at the top, there will be a random player button, so you can click on that and get it served a random player that's been playing color coded. If we look over here on the left-hand side, you can see that we could toggle on these templated type of guys. I mean, they're not necessarily really a template, but in here we turn them off because loading the game up, if I were to leave these on, you would see this exact looking icon here, the name, or it says name placeholder, and then the hack button, and then below that it will have the regular friends list with their avatars and things like that. So this is really meant here just to kind of visualize the layout, make sure everything looks correct, but they're also a separate scene. So you can see here in the network players scene, you can see that we have the avatar, the name, and then the hack button. So then anytime we do like a change in here, and this won't be like a full change here, but let's say we change it from name placeholder to name place text, right? So we change that and we go back to the network, you see that it changed here. So, and it changed in every instance that's on here. It's very handy to be able to do changes like that. Only have to do that once and it reflects everywhere. And you'll see that happen a few times throughout the game here. So let's go ahead and move over to the game board, which has a few of those things happening in here. Up at the top, you have the player avatar. This is whatever avatar they set in their settings, their username that they're gonna set up and customize, like a gamer tag, something like that in here. You have their title, so we're thinking about adding titles like achievements throughout the game, so then we would have those there at the bottom. And then over here is the guess count, and this number will tick down as you attempt guesses to guess the code. Below that, we have the container here. This guess container up top up here is also another scene in itself. And you can see that here, it's all by itself. So if there was something that I needed to do, like change these from a dashed line to a dotted line, I would just do that once, and then it would happen here on the game board, and then would also reflect where we use this as well on the set your color code screen. So, and then the bottom part here with the keypad, this is also another scene, and you can see that right here. Here's the keypad, the 3x3 variation here. And this keypad, also being a scene, is also used as well in the set your color code page. So having these little items here, these all separated out to scenes, is very, very handy to have. So let's go ahead and take a look at that set password or set color code screen. And it's right here. You can see the exact same guess containers here again, and then the keypad is there. All of our old favorites, all back here again. And then we have a change palette button at the bottom, and that change palette button takes you here to the palette picker. And in here, we'll toggle this on. This is what the page would look like. So this is also, again, another scene all by itself. And then we bring that into this scene, and then we can populate that down. So in the game itself, you'll see multiples in there. And so that's why having these as scenes are really handy, because I could just duplicate that down and see what many of them will look like in a row. Super nice. And I always got to make sure to turn these back off before I leave, otherwise I get yelled at. So let's go ahead and head over to the shop. Okay, so over here on the black market, this is the main screen for the shop, and I'll toggle on all of our pieces here. So you can see that we have the palette here to buy, and then we have the avatars that are laid out in a grid, and they will populate as well too. The more that we have, the longer it's going to be. So you can see again, if I duplicate this one, those roll off the screen, and you'll be able to swipe through all those. But we only leave the one on there. I put multiples on there when I just need to see what it's going to look like with a whole bunch. This guy here, these are scenes as well. So the avatar one and also the palette container here to buy. You can see right here, this is what it looks like. I don't use the same one that we saw before, which was the palette display one, this one here, just because I added the buy button on there. Now I we could get a little fancy and maybe like use this same one on the shop and then put this button in there by itself, and like something like that. But it was just as far as we're going right now, it was easier just to make this one here separate, and then that's the way that you buy a palette. This is probably going to be changing anyways to closer to a layout that looks like these avatars here. So it's not anything that we needed to worry about right now to update and change. Our shop is very basic right now. We only have one currency in the game, and then you just straight buy all these items. So right now, the state that the game is in right now is more just the alpha, so we don't need to do anything too fancy in here. We're just making sure that these core mechanics are working in the game. So let's go ahead and take a trip to the settings really quick. This one's fairly straightforward. Up here, you can change your username. Right now, we don't have any limits right now on how many times you could change it, but we may have to do something like that later if we have more players and everyone's constantly changing it and it's just doing too much. Then below that, we have the avatar section. This will have all the avatars that you purchased in the shop. Those will all be laid out. And then below that, we have this secure your save area. So this is an example of if you were actually playing the game as guest and you wanted to then save your progress through your Google or Apple account, you'd do that here. So you would come to this page, you would see this message, secure your save. You could click sign in with Apple, sign in with Google, either one, whichever one you're using. And once you do, it'll say the message will change to, your save is secure and the border will be green. Let's go ahead and head to the social section. this is our social page. So this page here that you're looking at, we have 3 tabs on here. So how to use like a tab container with like, it has tabs inside. Use that here. And you can see this is our leaderboard. This is just a global leaderboard based off how many times you successfully hacked another person. Then we have the events one. So all your successful hacks, people that have successfully hacked you, and how many people have unsuccessfully hacked you would be listed here. We may or may not still keep this. This was, I just kind of throwing a lot of stuff out there. We just have to collect that specific data when people do that, and then that will reflect on this page. And then we have over here the friends page. On the friends tab here up at the top, we have your ID, and then we have a spot for you to type in or paste the ID that you get from a friend, and you can add them there. And then they'll be pending until they accept, and then invites that have been sent to you by you giving your code to somebody else, they'll be pending here as well as you wait for them. And then below that, suggested friends, those are people that you've come across randomly through your random hacks. If you wanted to be friends and hack them back and forth more, you can do that here. So this page is not fully done yet. You can see that there's still some padding issues here. The buttons are right up at the edge, but the page works. And you know, we just did this a little quick just to get this up. But you know, with all things, we just got to work on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and run the game really quick here. We're just gonna kind of flip through the pages so you can actually see how this works live. All right, that's loaded up. Let me make that a little bit bigger. Go. So you can see there was a big breakthrough a little while ago when I discovered how to make things responsive. So when I stretch this out here, everything kind of stays in the middle. Things get larger. It's, you know, responsive design here. It turned out really nice. So here we go. We got the hacker network. We'll go there last. So let's just take a look quickly here at the social tab. So here's the friends. There's the friends code. So what you would do on your phone is you would tap that, then you would go paste that into the text message or something, and they would copy that in. They would come into their social tab. They would tap paste code. It would paste it in there. Then they would add a friend, and then it would appear down here. And then suggested friends here. This is just, again, the person that you run into while you're hacking. Successful hacks, same thing we saw before. And then there's the leaderboard. This is not anything that's operational at the moment. We're still working on building this up. So this is kind of a feature before it's a thing right now. Settings. This one's easy here. So you could just do, you know, like test account. You set that name. Let me put setting name, test account mic. There you go. And it appears right there. And then you can change your avatar here. You start with 2 of them. And yeah, that's about it for that page. Fairly straightforward. All right, now we'll go ahead and take a look at the markets. And then here you can see how it populates. I don't have any coins right now, so you're not going to be able to, I'm not going to be able to buy any of that. But I left the default one on, and you can see that here. So that's what happens. And I left these defaults on, so you can see what happens there. But here's the ones that populate from the shop, the 4 at the bottom there. And then these up top, these 5 pellets are also pulled from our loot locker. And so those populate there. Let's go set the color code. So here you can set your color code. You just type in whatever code you want to type. You set your code, and then that's it. We do start you off with 2 palettes. So you have your Dungeon Doors one and your default one. You just tap whichever one you want to use, and you can reset your code anytime, and there you go. And then lastly, the hacker network. Again, I left those template ones on, so those are all here. But you have the bots to practice with down here. If you hit the random player, you can hack a random person, and it'll take you to the puzzle. But we'll just go to the easy bot here. And here's the easy bot. Works just like, I think I kind of demoed this on the last video. But you know, this is, yep, that's how it works. And there you go. All right, and that is about it for color coded here. The game right now is in alpha, as you can see up at the top. And you know, there's still a long way to go, but it's coming along really nicely. It's really cool. I'll probably do some more videos later. I'll show maybe how to do this responsive part that I did. Maybe setting up some of the buttons. These are all buttons that are designed inside Godot. I used to do ones that were outside and use like a big texture map with buttons, try to make it, and it was too much. Doing them in line here with like a global style, which I can show that as well too. Some of these things weren't really too easy to find out how to do. So maybe making a good tutorial for that might be pretty good. Yeah, if you want to see anything specific about the game or how we made it, just let me know in the comments below, and we can show you what's up with the game. There's so many different parts of this. There's the dev side with all the coding and everything, and then any of the UI stuff that I figured out. I am by no means a Godot pro, but I can at least show you how I got some of this stuff working, and it might be very handy to some people out there. So yeah, that's going to be about it for this one. Like, subscribe, or whatever, all that stuff, I don't know. But I'll be back later with a brand new video and some more updates on color coded. Thanks for watching.